Hi, good morning, everyone. Today we can discuss the topic on designing the methodology. So, before going on to that, we know what research methodology is. It is a stepwise method or stepwise way in which we are going to do a research. So, in this topic, designing the methodology, what we will be discussing is that what are the factors which we may consider in designing those steps through which the research work should be undergone. So, research methodology is a way of systematically solving a research problem. It may be understood as a science of studying how research is done scientifically. Usually, this research process consists of series of actions or steps necessary to effectively carry out research and the desired sequencing of these steps. So we can just go through the various steps for a research process, and this usually involves formulating the research problem, extensive literature survey, developing the hypothesis, preparing the research designs, determining the sample design, collecting the data, execution of project, analysis of data, hypothesis testing, generalizations and interpretations, preparing of the report or presentation of results, that is formal write-up of conclusions which can be reached. So these are the various steps involved in the research methodology, that is the research work, around 11 steps. So what are these particular steps, or how we are going to do this particular steps, in which time we are going to do this particular steps, we will be discussing all these techniques here. So before going to that, this is a framework of research methodology, that is research process flowchart. First, what we used to do is that we should define a research problem, that is an area of interest. Then we will review the literature, all the things regarding that particular area of interest which are known. We will try to collect the information, as much information as possible, and from this information we will try to formulate a hypothesis, that is why this particular thing is happening. Next, we will use or design a research, that is including sample design, that is formulation of the research work we will do in the next step. We will collect the data, we will analyze the data. At last, we will interpret the data and we will report the data. So this is a research process in a flowchart. So first step or first essential step in any research work is to formulate a research problem. So what do you mean by a research problem? A research problem means the area in which we are interested to conduct a particular research work. That particular area, we will define it as a problem. That is, only if there is a problem we can find a solution. So the area which we are interested, we will make it into a problem, then we will try to formulate a solution for that particular problem. Now, at the very outset, the researcher must single out the problem he wants to study. That is, he must decide the general area of interest or aspect of a subject matter that he would like to inquire into. The formulation of a general topic into a specific research problem thus constitutes the first step in scientific inquiry. Essentially, two steps are involved in formulating the research problem. That is, first one is understanding the problem thoroughly and rephrasing the same into meaningful terms from an analytical point of view. So, we can take a what you can say general or recent concept. Uh, Around 2 to 3 months earlier, there was a very much hype, the use of hydroxychloroquine for the prevention of corona 19, that is COVID-19 infections. So suppose we want to know, is it true? We can make it into a problem. That is, we have a concept, hydroxychloroquine can be used to prevent corona 19 or COVID-19 infections. First thing what we will do is, we will make or rephrase that into a problem. Can hydroxychloroquine essentially prevent COVID-19 infections in target population? So we have formulated a problem. Now, on the basis of this particular problem, we can move on. Second step will be extensive literature survey. That is, once we have made a problem, for example, hydroxychloroquine and COVID-19 infection, next step will be to know all the literatures available on that particular topics and interpret all the literatures available on that particular topic. That is, once a problem is formulated, a brief summary of it should be written up. Now, the researcher should undertake extensive literature survey connected with that problem. From where we can use or obtain this extensive literature is that we can use the abstracting and indexing journals. What do you mean by abstracting journals? Abstracting indexes? I hope you have heard the term PubMed. Then indexing journals, which can be published, that is indexing journals mean SSRN, a network in which we can find all the even published and unpublished works. Here published or unpublished bibliographies are the first place to go. Academic journals, conference proceedings, government reports, books, etc. must be tapped depending upon the nature of the problem. Now, if we had looked into this particular hydroxychloroquine and COVID-19, many unpublished literatures were there. Many government proceedings or WHO proceedings, even FDA proceedings were there. All these things we could have accessed. Now, it should be remembered that one source will lead to another. Usually, while doing a research work, the easiest way to find literatures is that first find a very good literature, go to its bibliography, use that bibliography to find the literatures used by that particular individual. That is, from one literature itself, we can build up the literature survey. Now, early studies, if any, which are similar to the study in hand, should be carefully studied. After doing extensive literature survey, now we will have some idea on our problem. So till now we had a research problem. We were doing some extensive literature survey. We got some understanding about our problem, and based on this, we can develop a working hypothesis. Develop a working hypothesis means how we can test this problem. First thing. Second thing, why this particular problem is there. That is, first thing we can say is that how we can test whether this particular hydroxychloroquine is having any beneficial activities in the prevention of COVID-19 infections. Second, if any, how this particular hydroxychloroquine is contributing towards the prevention of COVID-19 infections. These two things can be interpreted, or these two things can be made into a crude format. Now, after extensive literature survey, the researchers should state in clear terms the working hypothesis or hypothesis. The working hypothesis is a tentative assumption made in order to draw out the test its logical or empirical consequences. For example, here we can say that the particular hydroxychloroquine may act on the ACE2 inhibitors on which the COVID-19 virus uses to enter the human body. So, here the blocking effect of ACE2 inhibitors may have a protection effect in this particular corona-19 infections. Now, hypothesis should be very specific and limited to a piece of research in hand because it has to be tested. The role of hypothesis is to guide the researcher by delimiting the area of research and to keep him on the right track. Preparing the research design. Now we have all the framework. On the basis of this particular framework, we can prepare the research design. Preparing the research design means how we are going to do the research practically. Till now what we have done is that we had done many things in paper. We had formulated a research question, we had done the research literature analysis, we had formulated a hypothesis. Now what we will do practically, this can be prepared as a research design. The research problem having been formulated is in clear-cut terms. The researcher will be required to prepare a research design. That is, he will have to state the conceptual structure within which research would be conducted. The research purposes may be grouped into 4 categories. Exploration. Exploration means to find out any new things. That is, any new effects of a new drug, any new ideas. All these things can be done by using exploration research. Description, to find why this particular phenomenon is happening. That is, why this particular H2 receptor antagonist is causing sleep or something like that. Diagnosis. Diagnosis means finding out new diagnostic steps. Then last one, experimentation. The preparation of the research design appropriate for a particular research problem involves usually the consideration of following. First one, the means of obtaining information. That is, the research design should essentially contain the following points. That is, how we are going to practically do the particular thing. first and most important thing will be how are we planning to collect the data, that is a means of obtaining information. To be frank, the most important thing in any kind of research work is data, and the way by which we are going to collect the data should be described very properly. Second thing, the availability and skills of researcher and his staff, if any. Explanation of the way in which selected means of obtaining information will be organized and the reasoning leading to the selection. That is, if you are planning for a personal interview, why such a personal interview? If you are planning for a questionnaire to collect the data, why such a questionnaire? Now, the time available for research, that is, how long are we planning the research? The cost factor relating to research, that is, the finance available for the purposes. All these things should be practically analyzed. Now, after that, the next and most important thing will be to determine the sample design. So, what will be sample? You know, for example, hydroxychloroquine to prevent COVID-19 patient. Ideally, if we have to find the effect of hydroxychloroquine in preventing coronavirus infection, what we have to do is that give hydroxychloroquine to whole the population, that is all the people in the world. Now check how many people will get COVID-19 infection. This is the ideal way, but practically this is impossible. So what we will usually do is that we will collect a sample, that is, we will collect a representation of the world population and we will call it as a sample. Now, the most important thing in any research work, that is human research work, is to determine the sample size. Determine the sample size is such a way that the sample will ideally represent our population. Again, we will come to this topic detailed in sample size calculation. I'm just given a framework. This topic will be completely discussed once more. Now, just to give what you can say an idea, all the items under consideration in any field of inquiry constitute a universe or population. A complete enumeration of all the items in population is known as census inquiry. Just blah 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 things. Means that if whole the population in universe is taken, it is usually termed as population or it can be termed as census inquiry. It can be presumed that in such an inquiry, when all the items are covered, no element of chance is left and highest accuracy is obtained. That is, if you are collecting the information from all the people, then there is no chances for any kind of error. But in practice, this may not be true. Even the slightest element of bias in such an inquiry will get larger and larger as the number of observation increases. Hence, quite often we select only a few items from universe for our study purposes. The items so selected constitute, which is technically called as sample. This is the definition part. Now, the researcher must decide the way of selecting a sample or what is popularly known as sample design. That is, how much sample should be collected, how it should be collected, what should be the inclusion exclusion criteria. All these things should be analyzed and decided in this particular step. Now, after doing all these things, we will come to the most important thing in any research: collection of data. That is, we are doing the research to collect data, and this is a most valuable thing in any research work. There are several ways of collecting appropriate data which differ considerably in context of money cost, time and other resources at disposal of the researcher. The primary data can be collected either through experiment or through survey. That is two ways. We can either do an experimentation or we can do a survey. That is descriptive studies or experimental studies. Observational studies or experimental studies. If the researcher conducts an experiment, he observes some quantitative measurements or the data with the help of which he examines the truth contained in the hypothesis. That is, in case of a survey, data can be collected by any one or more of the following ways. That is, we are just purely analyzing the survey option. What are the different ways through which we can collect data? First of all, by observation. This method implies the collection of information by way of investigators' own observation without interviewing the respondents. What your people are doing in while taking cases. What you will do? We will just go take the cases of the patient from the OPD or from the MRD department. You will just record the data, and this is by observation. We are not seeing the patient, we are not interviewing the patient. Only thing is that we are using our observation to collecting the data. Second way which we can use is through personal interview. Here the investigator follows a rigid procedure and seeks answers to a set of preconceived questions through personal interviews. That is, the particular researcher will have a set of questionnaires which he will collect the information, use to collect the information personally. Third one, telephonic interviews. Telephonic interviews means you will also may also use in your research work. This method of collecting information involves contacting the respondents on telephone itself. Another way is by mailing questionnaire. Mailing questionnaire means, again, this is the weakest form. Weakest form is that you don't have any surety that the particular persons may respond. Like here, what we are doing is that researcher and the respondents do come in contact with each other if this survey is adopted. The questionnaires are mailed to the respondents with a request to return after completing the same. It is the most extensively used methods in various economic and business surveys. But again, this is the weakest form. That is, there is no contact between the particular researcher and the particular respondents. Again, the weakest form of data collection. You don't have any kind of surety that you will get the data. Then, through schedules. Schedules means under this methods, the enumerators are appointed and given training. They are provided with schedules containing relevant questions. These enumerators go to respondents with these schedules. The data are collected by filling up the schedules by enumerators on the basis of replies given by respondents. Here what happens is that if you are very much busy, you are a very busy person, you can't go and directly meet the particular subjects. What you will do is that you will train certain people under you. You will give them a particular set of questions, that is schedule. Schedule means these all questions or these all parts should be touched. You will send him, they will collect the data. This is called schedules. Now, the researcher should select one of these methods of collecting the data, taking into consideration the nature of investigation, objective and scope of inquiry, financial resources, available time, and the desired degree of accuracy. Execution of project. So, till now we have everything in paper. Now, the next step is execution of the project. That is, do all these steps which are in paper properly. Execution of project is very important step in research process. If the execution of project proceeds on correct lines, the data to be collected would be adequate and dependable. The researcher should see the project is executed in a systemic manner and in time. Analysis of data. Once you have the data, you should analyze the data. So, after the data has been collected, researcher turns to the task of analyzing them. The analysis of data requires a number of closely related operations such as establishment of categories, application of these categories to raw data through coding, tabulation, and then drawing statistical inferences. The researcher should classify raw data into some purposeful, useful categories. Now, here we will use many procedures. We will use coding. Coding in the sense we can use some codes in order to categorize the data. We can use editing techniques. We can use tabulation techniques. And all these things can be used in order to analyze the data. After analyzing the data, what we will do is that we will do the repetition of the third step, that is hypothesis testing. We had formulated a hypothesis. Now we will test the hypothesis using the data with which we have in our hand. That is, after analyzing the data as stated above, the researcher is in a position to test the hypothesis, if any, he had formulated earlier. Do the facts support the hypothesis or they happen to be contrary? Various tests such as chi-square test, t-test, f-test have been developed by statisticians for the purpose. Hypothesis testing will result in either accepting the hypothesis or rejecting the hypothesis. That is, the data which we have in our hand will be used to test the hypothesis, and on the basis of that we can accept the hypothesis or we can reject the hypothesis. Generalizations and interpretations. If a hypothesis is tested and upheld several times, it may be possible for researcher to arrive at generalization, that is, to build a theory. That is, we know our hypothesis is true, and on the basis of that we will build a theory. This is happening because of this. The real value of research lies in its ability to arrive at certain generalization. The process of interpretation may quite often trigger off new questions which in turn may lead to further researches. That is, no research work is ultimately. Every research work will lead to a new research work. That is the basis of research methodology. That is, there is no ultimate research. Everything is a stepping stone to some other thing. And on the basis of all the data which you had, you will prepare a report of thesis. Again, this is a thesis which is similar to the thesis report which you will submit after your 50-year project. That is, finally the researcher has to prepare the report on which he has done by him. The writing a report must be done with great care keeping in following the view of following. That is, layout of the report should be as follows. It should contain the preliminary pages, it should contain the main text, and it should contain the end matters. So, what are all these things? We can go one by one. In the preliminary pages, the report should carry title. That is, what is the title for study? The date followed by acknowledgements and forward. Then there should be table of contents followed by list of tables, list of graphs and chart, if any given by the report. Now, the main text of report should have the following parts. It should have an introduction. That is, it should contain a clear statement of the objective of the research and an explanation of the methodology adopted in accomplishing the research. The scope of the study, along with various limitations, should as will be stated in this particular part. After introduction, there should be a summary of findings. Summary of finding means what did you find out. After introduction, there would be appear a statement of findings and recommendations in non-technical language. If the findings are extensive, they should be summarized. Then there should be a main report. The main body of report should be presented in logical sequence broken down into readily identifiable sections. Now, there should be conclusion. Towards the end of the main text, the researcher should again put down the results of his research clearly and precisely. In fact, it is finally summing up. At the end of the report, appendices should be, that is, end report. There should be appendixes which respect to all technical data. There should be bibliography, that is a list of all books and journals, reports, etc. consulted, and should also be given in end. Index should be given specially in published research report. So I hope you understood the basic layout of research methodology. In this, we were just doing a detail or a brief description on what are the main steps used in research methodology. If you have any kind of queries, kindly feel free to revert back. Thank you very much.